Hi Stashers, welcome to the Craft Stash Podcast. I'm your host, Kim. This is episode 98, Lady Crafts the Blues. Hey everybody, welcome to Sunday. It is November, and it actually looks like November out. I'm in New York City. My name is Kim. I can also be found online as Creole or Craft Stash, or K-Star, depending on where you're looking for me. I'm on Instagram and Ravelry, and on Creole.com. Welcome to the show, guys. Today is going to be a nice, tight, quick episode. I'm heading out into the city on this rather gray, rainy day to go meet up with a friend. We're going to go to a really fun place called Bossy? Boffy? Bossy? Oh, crap. She told me that it was Oscar Wilde's boyfriend's name, and I don't know very much about Oscar Wilde, so I could not tell you if it's Boffy or Bofi or Bossy, but it's something like that. And it's a place where they serve afternoon tea. So hence the tea-ish kind of garb. That, and I'm having a really bad hair day, and it's crappy and rainy out, and I don't want to have a soaked afro. If you haven't seen the show before, welcome aboard. If you have seen the show before, my gosh, how awesome is it that we're on episode 98? I already recorded episode 99 because that's how I roll sometimes. But the next one after this is the 100th episode. Actually, it's going to be the 106th or the 107th. But in terms of numerical order, it will be number 100, and it's going to be so much fun. I've been trying to think of really big ways to celebrate it, but I think at this point, low-key is as big as it needs to be, so hope you stick around with me up until we get to that 100 number mile marker. I think we're up to something like 650 plus people in the group, which is always awesome. Really great to see people joining the group on Ravelry. So if you are on Ravelry and if you're interested in a very low-key group that gives you access to contests and general fun stuff, not a lot of pressure, do join us. But let's go ahead and get the party started with what I'm crafting. There's also a little bit of what I'm stashing and a teensy bit of periphery. Let's go. So what am I crafting? You guys know, let me just reach down. It's November, so that means it's NaNoWriMo, the month where crafters try to join in on the NaNoWriMo fun. NaNoWriMo is it's National Novel Writing Month. I don't know how long ago it started, maybe a decade ago, maybe a little less. And basically writers and creatives challenge themselves to write a novel within a month. And you're not supposed to focus on content as much as quantity, because the idea is that after you've written 60,000 words, you can plumb through it and get a nice juicy novella or something out of it, or it can become the start of something bigger. NaNoWriMo started a couple of years ago. I don't know who got the brilliant idea, but some amazing crafter probably said, you know what, we can totally knit a sweater in a month if people can write a novel in a month. So it became this challenge where people try and knit and crochet sweaters within the span of a month. So of course, being that it usually takes me 6 months or so to finish a sweater, I said, you know what, let's really try and bang one out, because I'm always of the mind of, am I a slow knitter or am I a fast knitter that just doesn't knit enough volume in a week? I think I knit pretty fast, because I knit continental and I keep my elbows in. I think that's what Lily Chin says are the secrets to knitting quickly. But for some reason it takes me forever to knit things. So I wanted to kind of do this as a speed test, and also to just say that I could do it. So how am I doing? Doing pretty well. In 8 more rows, I will be halfway through. I will have finished the body. And it's looking like this. This is the body of my sweater. Looks like a skirt, I know. But I have a very extreme difference between my waist measurement and my hip measurement, so my A-lines tend to get my sweaters tend to be very, very A-line. This is the blank canvas sweater pattern by Ysolda Teague. I've spoken a bit about it in my other episodes. You can definitely check out Ysolda's group on Ravelry to find out more about it, but it's a very basic bottom-up, in the round combination sleeve of a raglan and a saddle sleeve, so she calls it a raddle sleeve. Raddle, not rattle. And it was pretty smooth sailing. I had some gauge hiccups here and there. My gauge is spot on, but my measurements of my body were not necessarily spot on, so I had to do some adjustment and I don't know if you guys can see, but the decreases are much more extreme on this than they are in the regular pattern. I decreased way more just to kind of get me that super A-line feeling. And I've been trying it on every 15 or so rows. I'm almost at the part where I'm supposed to stop and pick up and start doing the sleeves. And what I had been doing was, you know, when you, I'm using my Chagu needles, and I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. Let's see if I can get you a nice close-up. Let's use this as the background. Okay, this is a good way to look at it. If you look, oh, this is a pretty pattern, sorry. But if you look at Chagus, there's a tiny little hole right at the join. And what you're supposed to do with that hole is it helps you to tighten the needle on the interchangeable part. But what it also helps you do is if you can find some embroidery thread, you can, let me just try to get you guys access to that hole again. Ho ho, you do want access to that hole, don't you? If you were able to put some embroidery floss or even tooth floss, dental floss in there and thread it through, you can basically just use it to make a lifeline. So I had been doing that to try it on, but it was taking me too long to put the needle, the live stitches back on the needle. So what I did was I have one of these ingenious little joiners that are sold for the Chagus. They're sold separately, but if you can get your hands on them, I definitely suggest it. Because what that lets you do is extend the length of your needle, and then you just pull it all the way through, and you can try it on that way. And then, of course, pull it back out and make it shorter once you're ready to work again. So I was able to try it on. Here are a couple of pictures of me trying it on yesterday, and there's still a bit of a gap in terms of the sizing between my back and the width of the sweater. So it's going to be a little bit comfy, a little bit loose, but that's fine. I'm basically at the point where it's going to be a comfy sweater, and next time around I just know that I have to decrease way more aggressively and more evenly. So I'm very happy with the progress. I have been tracking it. Give me one sec. I told you guys about this wonderful app called Lumen Trials that lets you track pretty much anything and make up your own increments so that every day you could increase things. So this is what my sweater has been looking like. Sorry, because the contrast is so high on this. I'll just show you guys a screenshot. Let me try and do this. Maybe that's better. Oh, much better. And it makes it brighter again. This is the ambient lighting thing. Come on, get darker. Anyway, it lets you see day by day how many stitches you've knit. And it also provides you a really cool graph view. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see that. It's okay. It also provides you a really cool graph. Let me sneak up on it. Oh, there's the graph. A really cool graph view of your progress. It's a really great motivator. So I've been trying to get at least 6 rows on this a day. So while it's pretty straightforward, it was 2x2 ribbing at the bottom and stockinette all the way up. But I mostly knit on the subway, so I could only squeeze in, you know, 6 rows max on any given half hour, which was like me speeding through if I had a seat. So I'm very happy with my progress. Right now what I'm wrestling with is figuring out whether or not I'm going to cast on both sleeves and work them both up at a time so that I can join, or if I'm going to do the ingenious thing of doing a provisional cast on for both sleeves and then maybe doing 2 inches of each sleeve and then putting the bottom on waste yarn and then connecting at the top, working the rest of the yoke, and then finishing the top of the sweater and then just kind of picking up the provisional cast on and working down the sleeves. I think I like that idea better because it'll let me make my sleeves as long as possible and use up as much yarn as possible rather than having a set distance for the sleeve, casting, you know, joining to the body, working the rattle, and then figuring out that I've got half a cake left that I'm probably not going to do anything with. So that's my ingenious plan. Let's hope it works. In terms of what I'm going to be crafting this week, I need to actually put down my sweater for a couple of days because there are, yet again, more babies at the office. They are miracles and they just keep on coming. But I have a baby girl and a baby boy to, a baby girl co-worker, a co-worker's baby girl, I should say, and my cousin's baby boy to make some baby socks for as welcome to the world gifts. So I'm probably going to set myself back a couple days on the sweater, but that's okay. What else have I got? I'm crafting. I'm stashing some stuff as well. in terms of what I'm stashing, let's pretend that I was some stereotypical island. I was going to say something really racist. I was going to say, let's pretend that I'm a savage on an island and I can collect skulls. See? That's not right. So let's pretend I'm somebody who collects things and strings them. I'm collecting yarn and stringing them. Yay! Sorry that the contrast is so high on the camera. It's really, really cloudy and really, really bright outside, so my colors are not going to be the greatest. So let me try and maneuver this and tell you exactly what you're looking at. You're looking at 14 different skeins of yarn in a gradient of blues. Hence the title of today's episode. Let me try and darken this for a sec, just so that you can see these beautiful colors. These are skeins of yarn dyed in a gradient from darkest teal, which is this guy, or maybe it's that guy, I can't really tell right now. But I feel, there we go, it's this guy, going all the way up to the lightest gradient, which is this guy. Which looks almost white for you guys, but it's kind of a pale-ish seafoamy green. What do I need 14 skeins of this yarn for? What do I need 2,240 yards of this yarn for? I'm making a big-ass lace project. I am going to knit my sister a wedding huppah for her wedding. If you don't know what a huppah is, it's a canopy that is traditionally used by Jewish families and Jewish couples to symbolize the covering of the home. Let me bump my contrast back up. It's used to symbolize the concept of the home when a couple gets married, and it kind of becomes their community or their foundation. Sorry, I'm messing with the lighting as we speak. There, that's a little bit better. So my sister's fiance is Jewish, obviously, because my sister is not Jewish. Not yet. I don't think she's going to convert. So she's having a really brightly colored wedding, and her wedding colors are green and cream and brown. So she wanted a huppah that was very, very brightly colored. So again, I've already dialed back up the contrast on the camera, so you can't. But this is like, if you see this dark teal of my hat, it's strange that they don't show up the same color, but this is very, very close to this color. So, Lady Crafts the Blues. I've got 2,240 yards of this stuff ahead of me. And I'm going to be knitting the huppah as a mishmash of a couple of different patterns. I'm going to be using the P. Paola pattern. I forget the designer's name. I'll flash it on the bottom. Mixed with another lace pattern. And basically I just need to make a big rectangle that's about 6 feet by 4 feet. So as soon as I finish my sweater and those 2 baby socks, it's going to be hard charging on 2,000 yards of lace. This is a fingering weight. So the saving grace is that I'm going to work it probably on size 7s or 8s or even 9s if I can get away with it, so that it goes nice and big, so that it gets big nice and quick. And then I'll block the heck out of it, and hopefully that will get me to my size yardage. And if it's bigger, that's fine. It's cool. And that's kind of all that I'm crafting, all that I'm stashing rather. And the woman that I custom ordered this lovely, lovely yarn from is Erica. She has a shop called Color Shift Yarns on Etsy. She is one of the most accommodating sellers on Etsy that I've found as of yet. We've been working together for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, to come up with what colors I wanted. She went back and forth with me in terms of sending me samples. I showed you guys a couple of the samples that she sent, or color cards, a couple of weeks ago. Then we went back and forth on whether or not I just wanted to buy 2 sets of her ready-made color. And then I spoke to my sister and I decided that I wanted to get a more graded color, so she made me a custom set of ombre in 14 gradations, and shipped it out like super fast, and she was giving me all of this advice on blocking and joins, and I think she's of Jewish heritage too, so she was talking about huppahs and how awesome it's going to be. So it was beyond pleasurable as an experience. So Erica, thank you so much for making virtual shopping almost as fun as real shopping. So that's what I'm stashing, and it's plenty. So what else have I got in terms of periphery? Oh, there goes Tiger. Tiger, do you want to say hello? I think you do. Come here. Come here. Oh, oh, scratch, scratch. No, I don't want to be on camera. Well, you were bothering me, so I had to pick you up. Oh, she scratched the hell out of me. Tiger, I love you too. I'm really glad I cut your nails and cleaned them yesterday. Ouch. So anyway, in terms of periphery, not much is going on. It's fall. I record more indoors now. I really wanted to record outdoors. We were supposed to go to Bryant Park and go ice skating today. However, it's kind of gray. It's technically raining, as I can tell right now, and it's like 60 degrees, so it's not very ice skate friendly. I will try and go back to the skating rink sometime soon and hopefully be able to take you guys with me and experience some of the holiday markets in that area. But until then, not much has been going on. Life has been too crazy at work for even for me to paint my nails. Like, I'm not even wearing all of my wedding rings. I can't. We gotta pare down sometimes and just kind of power through. The really two cool things that I did discover and did get a chance to do this week were, one was work related and one was not work related. The non-work related, ooh, Tiger is making a mess out there. I hear her. Tiger, what's up? She's not happy about the rainy Sunday either. So the work-related thing that I did was my coworkers and my boss and I took an at-work personality quiz training. It was called Communication Styles and Effectiveness. And it's something that my company has contracted out with this other company called Insights Discovery. And it's basically a Myers-Briggs kind of test that tells you, oh, you know, it's not necessarily a personality type, it's like what kind of color energy do you use most at work. So there's red, yellow, green, and blue. Red color energy is people who are really kind of fiery and feisty and really take charge, and give me 1 second, I'm going to pull it up. Fiery and feisty and in charge and kind of all about goals and directing people and moving forward. Whereas let me see if I can pull this up for you, because I think it's really, really interesting. Alright, so I went ahead and they laminated charts and gave them to us because we were supposed to kind of find out what our color energy was and understand indicators of what other people's color energy is and have that information try and help us to manage conflict and work better together. So long story short, there's 4 different communication styles. With fiery red, they're people who are extroverted thinkers. They're business-like, functional, busy, formal, efficient, pragmatic, fast, decisive. They care about results. They don't want to lose control, that kind of thing. People who are yellow color energy are extroverted and feeling people, so they are fashionable and stylish, stimulating, personal. They're a little bit cluttered. They're very friendly. They're fast and spontaneous. They like social relationships. They don't like being excluded. That kind of thing. Green color energy is people who are introverted feelers. They're casual, they like to conform, they're personal, they're relaxed, they're friendly, they're informal. They tend to be slower and easygoing. They like maintaining relationships, and they don't like being undervalued. They can be stubborn. And then blue color energy is introverted thinkers, and they are formal, conservative, structured, organized, functional, formal. They're more slow and systematic. They want to care about the task and the process, and they don't like to be unprepared. So we kind of all did a couple of exercises to find out who we thought we were, or what we thought our color energies were. And and then you were supposed to kind of rank them in terms of, I have more blue energy, yellow energy, red energy. So I thought I was going to be a blue, green, yellow, red, because I am so not confrontational. I kind of placed myself as what I was the least of, and I thought I was more kind of logical and pragmatic. And then what they did was, a couple of weeks before the class, they gave us this like 50 or 60 question survey online, and they built these profiles for us. And in the middle of the class, they gave us our printout profiles that told us what we scored, and I turned out to be a green. So I'm more personable and supportive, and it was really, really interesting. And I mentioned all of this to say that if you ever have a chance to take this personality assessment or this work strategy assessment, I highly recommend it. It's kind of pricey, from what I understand. My company had to like buy a bunch of licenses to do it, but I keep thinking about it all weekend. And not that I think that it's the gospel truth. I really don't think that I'm that much of a people person, as I've said before on the show. But it's kind of good to know that I've got a lot of that quote-unquote energy, and that I can kind of bring that to some of the relationships that I have at work and at home. I'm even going to try and get Greg to take the test. We'll see how that goes. So that's a little bit of periphery there. And then the other thing that I discovered this week that's really kind of tickling my brain, some kind of stash, if you will, non-craft related, is another book by the author that I'm turning out to really, really love, Hugh Howey, called Halfway Home. If you guys have watched the show before, you know that I have that I really like Hugh Howey's writing. Oh, sorry guys, I'm trying to get the cover up for you. Ooh, sorry. Yeah. So if you have read the watched the show before, you guys know that I love Hugh Howey because he wrote the series of books, short stories called Wool, which is about a post-apocalyptic world where people live underground and they're afraid of going outside, and then they find out that maybe they've been lied to for generations. So now he's written a lot of books. So if you have a Kindle or an e-reader of some sort, or even a paper, if you can find them in the paper book stores, if you can find him in a bookstore, I highly recommend his writing. I just absolutely love his writing style. He's very clear and concise and paints a really good picture, and he tells stories through other people's lenses very, very well. Wool was based on a series of women, or I should say the narrators in Wool were a series of women, and he wrote women beautifully. And in this book, Halfway Home, the narrator is a guy who's a newborn, but not a newborn. And he's also struggling with more than just being in outer space with colonists. And I'll leave it at that because he just I'll tell you this. The protagonist thinks he's gay, but he doesn't know what gay is because they're out in space and they've never had relationships with people before. But it doesn't come off as him being all gay all the time, whatever that would mean. And I absolutely love that. I was like, yay, you know, something different and new and not different at all. So I highly, highly recommend Halfway Home, and I highly, highly recommend reading anything by Hugh Howey. So I will leave you with that. I am about to go and get some tea with my friend at wherever that place is called, and I will see you guys later. In the meantime, if you can't craft it, stay warm and stash it. Cheers!